Welcome to Trevor McCormack Music Podcast. I'm Chrissy Mack from Radio Northern Beaches, and I couldn't be more excited to kick off this musical journey with you. Joining me is my brother, the legendary Trevor McCormack, known as Mac, a true storyteller and music enthusiast. With each episode, we're peeling back the layers behind the hits, sharing untold stories from artists and exploring what sparks the creativity behind the music that moves us all. Whether you're a die-hard music fan or just love discovering new sounds, this is the place where passion meets storytelling. So, hit the follow button, share this with your fellow music lovers, and leave a review. Your support keeps the vibe alive. Turn up the volume and get ready to be inspired. And let's dive into the world of music together. Let's go. All right, listeners, it's Chrissy Mack and Trevor McCormack back again for our Saturday chat. Hi, Trev. How you doing?
Hey, everybody. G'day again.
Today I want to talk to you about several things, but the first thing I want to talk to you about is the worst gig you have ever done.
Oh, well, there's always one of those. Yeah, okay, all right. Booked for a New Year's Eve. Yeah, it was a New Year's Eve gig. Bass player, drummer, lead guitarist, fill-in guy, and myself, and loved my music, loved what I do. Said, look, yeah, just come and do what you do. We'd love to have you. I said, righto, not a problem. So we get all a year and rock up on the night, and everyone's done up in the old Roaring 40s. So they want Gatsby music and stuff like this.
Oh my gosh!
And I've gone, well, we don't do that at all, not even close. So we just kicked off as what we do, and we did a good job, or the best we could do with what we had to deal with. All these people are all dolled up, but they get a few drinks into them, and then they start heckling and having play some Roaring 40s, play this, play that. This is what we're all dressed up for. Oh, I tell you, it was a bit upsetting, but I mean, what can you do? You can't pull it out of your hat if you haven't got it. So with that, my bass player, someone upset my bass player and said something to him when we had a break. So he wandered off. So we get back up to do our set, less a bass player. I'm thinking, where is this guy? I had no idea what happened. Someone had to go at him about, we weren't playing Roaring 40s. And it was a touchy thing for him. So he sort of disappeared for a while. And I'm calling out in my mic, anyone sees me bass player, send him up, Carried on through the night. Then my lead guitarist, who was just a fill-in, decided to have a few too many drinks.
Oh, dear.
So it was really just the drummer and me going, what is going on here? So I'd call that my worst night of all. We got through the night. A lot of people said, great job, thanks a lot, don't listen to all the drunken idiots and so forth, which was nice. The manager come up and said, mate, you did a great job. Sorry about all the pressure they put you under.
But what did they say about booking you for a night that they should have been booking our 40s?
I don't know how that worked, but the manager just went, I love what you do, come and play. But, yeah, then I don't know whether he organised the Gatsby look-alike or dress-up night, or someone decided to just do that. But it was really uncomfortable. Yeah, they all look fantastic, but I couldn't do anything to help them.
Because you didn't have the material.
Well, I would have said, no, I can't do it. Yeah, sorry, can't do it. But we did. So we had to do what we could do. And we played a lot of covers and a lot of songs. And I actually said this, I think I said something over the mic as in, really not quite sure how this happened, but we're here and we'll play you some good music. And they were all up dancing. They were all having a good time. But all they wanted to do was whinge about we weren't doing well, not all of them, just some. You get the odd one or two, 3 or 4 that don't understand. That's what they booked. They booked me as an original artist and covers, but not a Roaring 40s band.
Dear, oh dear. Well, somebody really messed up there. All right, let's have a talk about your travel rituals. So when you travel distances or short distances, are there specific routes you take, your favourite roads, do favourite service stations, favourite coffee places? What do you listen to on your way to and from gigs?
Right. Well, there's no, because they're all different places. They're all over the place, especially around Brisbane. Or we'll go south side all the way down to the Gold Coast. But the ritual is generally I'll head for my drummer. He's the closest. So I used to pack trailers, a van. Nothing was sort of worked for putting all the gear in to get all the gear in. So I actually bought myself a Ford Ranger and put a big box on the back of it. And it seems to squeeze just everything in with a twin cab and all the boys in. So what I do is, the ritual is go to the drummer, load all the drum kit in, all his PA gear with my PA gear, and then we head from there. So that's about a 20-minute drive over to him. Then I head the other way over to my mate Dave, and he's my lead guitarist. So we load in his, he carries, what's he do? An amplifier, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, probably 2 bags, maybe 3 bags of gear, pedals and all sorts of things. So we get to his place, another 20 minutes away from a drummer, and we sort of squeeze him in here, there and everywhere. There's not much room, but by the time we're all loaded up, and there's 3 blokes, we've got the full box from floor to ceiling, tight, like packed in. The last things go in the top, very tight, and a few guitars in here and there, packed in the back, and then the rest go in the twin cab in the back seat. So wherever we head, Dave's partner always loves to come, and generally he's like, well, can we pick her up on the way? So we head into Brisbane. Shelley's around the Gabba there, and we pick Shelley up, and off we go. There's 4 people in the ute, and it is packed from floor to ceiling, inside now. So off we go, and basically we talk about what we're doing. I run music that we're going to play through the night. So we flick through some songs, have a bit of sing and a laugh, and talk about this and that and what we're going to do. And then we get there. Once we get there, then it's a work of art to pull it all out without, breaking anything and messing anything up. So you've got a ute out on the street, the 3 of us, the boys. Shelley basically goes in and keeps it on the stage or wherever we're going to set up, and I start unpacking it, pulling it out, get a trolley, and I load it onto a trolley, and then one of the guys takes the trolley with all the big stuff. The other guy, he starts taking guitars and bags and whatever he can grab by hand, and in he goes. And that's how we unpack. And we've set it up in areas of, all right, the drummers first. You just get the drummer's gear in there and put your stuff sort of out in the surrounding area and let him set up. Once he's set up, I start setting my PA and all the mics and all the leads and everything, and set up for my vocals and guitar. And then I throw all the leads for Dave. As I'm doing that, he's starting to set up his stuff as well. And then as you set your stage, then you start shuffling things. Depends where you are. If you're on a stage, it's pretty easy. Well, it's easy to set out. If you're in a floor space, you might have tables and chairs around, or a snooker table not far from you. You've got to shuffle. You'll start putting stuff out, and you'll find, oh no, I need to move this left or that right or this forward or that back for people to dance in front of you. And so it's always different. It's never the same. But yeah, the Ford Ranger, if we had a bass player, he wouldn't fit.
Oh dear.
He's got to make his own way. But yeah, we mainly do trios. So there's the 3 of us that get away with it. The beats are good. Had a bass player at the moment. We'd have to put him on the roof. Put him on the roof, right?
Put a chair on the roof, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
it's called air conditioning.
Yeah. Or say, Shelley, you can't come. But she's out. She looks after everything. There's a problem. You need drinks, you need food, or you need something sorted, or I need a 9-volt battery. Where am I going to get one of them? She's on. She's on it.
So she's a roadie.
Yeah, she'd be our roadie support. Yeah, girl. So she's great. That's Dave's partner. So that's how we do it. That's our way of we're our own roadies, and all the boys help. We know what we can touch, what we can't touch. It's just a case of you pack up your own stuff. You know where it all goes. You pull your leads out. How you know your leads. Everything gets packed into boxes. And the drummer's doing his stuff. I'm doing my stuff. Dave's doing his stuff. Once it's all packed up, then they'll help you pick up the boxes or the bags. And it's just like a written law. We know each other's gear. You pack your own up, or you set your own up, and once you're done, can I help? Yeah, what do you need? That's how it works. So
have you ever had a situation where you've unpacked everything and you've realised you've forgotten something?
Oh, yes. And luckily, my son-in-law was at my place at the time, and I'd only driven, where am I? Probably 35, 40 minutes away. I was filling in. Dave couldn't do a gig, and he said, can you do a gig for me? And he says, I've got a drummer, but you need to do all the singing and just do what you do. I said, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. He said, I've double booked somehow and I can't get there. All right. I said, okay, done. So I packed all my gear in. Off I go. Get there. I set everything up. I'm setting up the mics and the leads and put the guitar stands up, put the guitar out. And I said to these scratch head, hang on, what am I plugging into? Where's my PA? And I'm running it out of my car. I'm looking around, I'm thinking, sure, I'll put it in.
Oh, dear.
So, straight on the phone, I said to this bloke, mate, when do we start? He said, about 20 minutes. I said, I reckon we'll just make it. I rang my son-in-law. I said, can you get in the shed quick? I said into the studio and tell me just tell me what you see. And he says, I can see this. I said, no, there's a big, like a box, and it's got an Evolve or EV. It's got EV on the front of it. He goes, I got it. I'll bring it. I said, no, hang on, don't hang up yet. I said, there's two of them. There's the EV box, which is your main PA, and there's a tower that goes on it. That's in a separate bag. And he would have ran out without it. So anyway, he's yep, got it. I said, I just need those two things. Can you please bring them? Yep, got it, on it. So he raced it out to me and got the gig away. But that's, I've never, ever forgotten anything. And I laugh because a guy, one day, I get a phone call from the RSL, Bribey RSL. Trev, we got a guy here, and his PA's just stopped. He said he was setting up, and it doesn't go. Can you help us out? And I reluctantly I don't like to loan my gear out to anybody, but I had an actual small little desk, PA desk, and I said, all right. So I grabbed that and raced out, give it to him, and mate, he was so grateful. And I thought, well, if I was in that position, which I have been, it was good to be helped out there.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll bet he was so very, very, very thankful.
Oh, he bought me a beer. He said, mate, you're a lifesaver. He said, I couldn't play. I was buggered. He said, I had nothing, had no one. It was only that the people knew who you were and you're locally known as a singer. They said, Trev, give Trevor a call, quick. And, yeah, actually, sorry, I've done that twice. I had guys come from Melbourne, Victoria, somewhere down that way, come to Sandstone Hotel. And the same thing. Someone said, I know a good musician around this area, because they had a truck bring all their gear. And so we come interstate, and somehow there was no microphone stands and no microphones.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Again, and now once again, they've gone, well, can we hire somewhere? And I said, I don't know. And then the young guys that work there know my kids, and they know me because they come to our club, we go to their club. And they said, try Trev, the Mac band. Maybe they'll help us out. This guy's going, who's that? He says, one of our local musicians. He's pretty good. We'll see if we can get hold of him. So they rang the Sandstone Hotel, rang the Bribey RSL. The Bribey RSL rang me, and I was out driving one of the courtesy buses, and said, we need help. I said, what's the problem? They said, we need some music stands, some microphones. I said, hang on, who for? I'm thinking it's for our company. And they said, that's for Sandstone Hotel. These guys are doing a massive big wedding, and they're missing these things out of the truck. Obviously, they didn't go in. They said they're interstate, and they really need your help. So I thought, all right. So I went over there and dropped them off, and I got them back, less one screw that fell out of the microphone stand, which is not their fault. But anyway.
Well, at least you got it all back. That was the main thing, because that's the risk when you do that sort of thing. But, yeah, again, it was great of you to do that for them.
So it happens. It does happen, but not very often. But, yeah, it does happen.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. Reading a room. How do you pivot when you notice a crowd isn't feeling a certain vibe? What do you do? Although that doesn't happen to you very much, I know, because I've been in the room. But how do you sort that out?
It's a case of a lot of restaurants I've learned how to do this, and that's you get a big restaurant, you might have a small stage, or you're tucked in a corner somewhere. The idea is not to be loud and just play mellow songs, easy songs. You can play a couple of upbeats here and there as you sort of get into it, but you're still doing them softly and carefully. And you read your room. People are eating, they're talking. If you play too loud, and I tell my guys this, if it goes up too loud, they get uncomfortable.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to bands, and especially in clubs. People come to have dinner to talk to each other. if the music is too loud, one, it's irritating because you've got to yell over top of them, and
That's
two,
right.
you don't enjoy it. Whereas if there's background music, you actually subconsciously you are hearing and listening to that music, and
Well,
you know,
yes.
and you're enjoying it as well as the conversation you're having.
Well, that's the thing. If they can talk and they're having a conversation, that's why I walk the room. I'll always walk right to the very back of the room with a guitar. It'll be wireless. I'll have my drummer drumming and my guitarist playing, and I'll set the volume because I've got the control on a phone. And I use my phone or an iPad, and you can bring everything down nice and smooth. And I do that to start, to set the whole room before anyone gets in it, because rooms get louder as the night goes on. The louder the room, then the louder you got to bring the music up, because people talk. Now, in that situation, so you just cruise along, nice and steady, nice and mellow, play all your lovely-dovey songs and some really nice stuff, have a bit of a jam, play some bluesy stuff, and just have a good time yourself. And you'll notice people turn around every time you start a song with a smile, or they're talking and you watch their fingers tapping or their toes tapping under the table. That's when I know I'm in a good situation. It's sitting nice. The songs are good. Everybody's comfortable. As the night goes on, they've all had their dinners. They're all sitting back, out a few drinks. They get a bit louder because they're all having a good time. They're starting to laugh and, yell at each other and carry on and have, a bit of fun. So you bring it up a notch, and then you bring up the songs. So we've got a start, a middle, and what we call bangers. The bangers are the last one. End of the night, punch them out, keep everybody dancing, have a good time, or sing-alongs. And that's another way of picking crowds at the end of the night as well. So in the restaurant situation, that's how you go. By the end of the night, we've turned it up a little. People are pushing chairs and tables out the way, having a dance. That's the best. That's when you know you've read your room right. On the stages, different scenario. It's you got a big stage, you got a big dance floor in front of you. You can still do everything the same, but you do read your room, as in, if it's just music, then you set it at a decent level where people in front of you on the stage, it's loud. They've got to yell to each other. When you get back past the stage, it's a bit easier. And the further back, people sitting at tables and chairs, or there's a restaurant further back, they can hear and talk and carry on. You've just got to test your room. You've got to go out there. Either your sound guy has to walk all the way to the back and slowly walk to the front as you're playing and set the level. But a lot of bands don't. They just put it up flat out, bang, and you cannot hear a thing. And you'll find the people at the back who can't hear, that's why they sit back further away. They just want to talk and enjoy the music, but it's that loud they can't. So they walk go into the pokies, or they
leave. They literally
well,
leave. Yeah.
But it's it's got to be loud, but within reason and to suit the venue. That's the most important part. Just suit the venue for the level of noise.
There's so many bands that think that they've just got to play loud. They've just got to belt it out. And I don't know how many times I have to say to them, you don't need to do that. It's got to be a comfortable level where people can enjoy your music. Even rock and roll.
Yeah, well, rock and roll, you should be able to hear, laugh, dance, sing. But you get things like heavy metal. Right, they just want to smash out noise. Yep, no one can hear anything, no one can talk to anybody. That's what you do there, if you're hitting that. Yeah, it's just different types, different areas, different genres to what the levels are. But if you're in an RSL club, or you're in just a restaurant situation, or just a nice stage with a small room, 30, 40 foot back, or it's, set your level, mate. Because everyone's going out the door. Boy, it's just too loud. You get on the dance floor, have a good dance, you're like, mate, my head is ringing.
Yeah, and your ears, you can tell, your ears give you the indication if it's too loud. They start to ring, they start to hurt.
Yeah, well, they hurt. They do hurt. You go to the big concerts, mate.
Well, they're designed for that. That's not talking, they're designed for just listening.
Yeah, the music will be loud and it travels. And they've got speakers everywhere and they're pumping them out.
That's
fantastic.
A different scenario.
Yeah, but you talk restaurants, clubs, pubs. If you're too loud, you can actually push people out the door.
Yeah.
The bar staff tell you, they just go, every time the bar staff come up to me and go, mate, that was a great night. Everything was fantastic. it wasn't too loud. We could hear what people were ordering.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. So they don't stop to think about that. The bar staff and the club staff or the restaurant staff have to be able to hear what people are asking for.
When you're screaming over the bar, I just want a beer.
Yeah, and I've got that sort of voice that doesn't carry through that noise, so nobody can ever hear me.
They're all just things that, managers of the pubs or clubs or the owners should just come up and go, mate, just knock it back a bit, turn it down. I've never had anyone to say turn it down or turn it up, really. I've had someone walk up. Actually, once, I think it was a private gig, just said, oh, you can really let it go now. So one person, I think, has been the only person ever said,
turn it up, yeah.
Just cruising, having a good time. Everybody's happy. I think they had a few drinks and just, well, come on, crank it up a bit. Let's stir up the neighbours. But other than that, no. My main thing is when I set up a stage or a show, I'll always walk the whole room. I'll go through the middle, I'll go left, I'll go right. When it's empty, I will turn it up and get my it's loud. I had someone come in actually when I was setting up in a big room. And they said, mate, that's really loud. I said, I'm setting up. It's going to be really quiet and easy when we start. And he sort of looked at me. I said, you can trust me. You'll really appreciate the levels I set. I said, the room I need to know when we fill this room, it's going to be loud. The people are going to be loud. And this is about the level or just under that the maximum it will be. And he went, oh, okay. I said, yeah. I said, if I don't have that, I don't know where to set it up, like push it up to. I said it might not be loud enough. And then the people talking will drown out the music. And it was a closed room. There was just, there was no restaurants, no food, nothing. It was just bar and a stage and dance floor. So we set that up, and that was probably my biggest setup, actually. And I pulled it all back down and then said to the band, righto, let's just kick off our songs and see how we go. And as the people, that was ticket sales in the door. I think we got about 250 people in there, and we kicked it off, and they had a great night. Everyone said it's fantastic. And I only turned it up a little bit each, probably in the 3 hours, probably turned it up 3 times.
Okay.
As the crowd got a bit noisier and louder through the night. But yeah, the guy come back to me and said, mate, that was unreal. Wow, perfect. Couldn't have faulted it. So for sound levels, you just got to do your homework before you kick off.
All right, let's talk about after the adrenaline of a live performance. How do you transition back to the quiet hotel room or home life? Because we're not massive, your wind down is really 5 minutes. You sort of get off the stage, go and say hello to a few people, have a wander around, maybe sell a few CDs, and chill out for about 10, 15 minutes, I suppose, 20 at the tops, because we've got to pack our own stuff up. So by the time you pack all your gear up, and then a repeat of how I said I'd pick everybody up, now I've got to go take them all home. So I sort of hum tunes and sort of on the way home, which is like a relaxed sphere vocals. So I'll just hum things, listen to music, and talk to the guys. Just you soften your voice. It's everything. So you got to calm yourself down because you're hyped up. You've punched out all these great songs at the end of the night. You've packed up. You're tired. Your throat's sore. You're thirsty. It's because, and it depends on how much effort you put into. If you're jumping around the stage and doing a lot of that, it's you've really dehydrated, and it can take its toll. So I drop all the guys off on the way home. And generally, gigs like that, you get home about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I generally just sit down and have something nice and cold, turn the telly on, just relax, unwind. I could have a port or something if I feel like I just want to have a nip or something. And then nice hot shower and off to bed. Well, that sounds like a really good way of bringing yourself down after a big night.
It depends where you are. If you're staying overnight somewhere, I'd probably find I'd pick up my guitar and just mellow out with a bit more music of my own. Just depends on the day, how big the day and the night was. Because a gig, people think, you come and play for 3 hours. It might take you 3 hours to get there. You've loaded all the car up. You've done an hour or so travel. You've set all the music up. That can take hours. And then you've picked everybody up as well. Now you've got to do it all the way back after 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's a big day.
I'll say.
Yeah. You're not there for 3 hours. There's a lot of preparing. I'm actually doing, I've got to do a country gig for a friend of mine. I said I wasn't going to do gigs this year, but He's a good mate of mine, so I'm going to do his birthday. He wants a bit of country. Then I've got one that's the end of next month, and I've got one the week after that for a friend of mine, and she wants me to do a 3-hour gig with the band. So that's going to be fun. But I have spent, when you say time, I've spent the last 2 days running through a set list of starters for the first hour, a middle for the second hour, and then the third hour, the bangers. I had my guitarist come over. So I've been doing that for 2 days and trying to get them in the order that they seem to flow in, and everybody will have a good time.
Well, that sounds like quite a bit of work that you've had to do, and you do to get your gigs ready for before you even pack up and go.
Yeah. So I've got to now transpose all these songs onto an iPad. I've got a set list then. I send that to the guys, and the guys know the order of everything, one song after the other. So we're on the same page. Because we have just turned up. We've had gigs where I just say, Dave, I'll meet you at the venue. I've got their set everything up. He's rocked up. The drummer's rocked up. And no one's had a clue where we're going to go or what we're going to do or what we're going to sing. So I just go, righto, and I just start. And I look at him after I finish the first one or two, and I go, mate, get a couple of songs ready. And then I'll sing some more. And then I'll go, righto, Dave, all yours. And he'll sing a few. And we do that all night. Let's just go for it. The drummer he's sitting there going, what are you doing next? What are you doing next? What are you doing next?
I gather you don't do that too often.
No, but it can happen because we just can't get to each other.
Right.
We can't, we're all too busy work-wise. And it's a case of, well, we know each other, we know what we can do. So we just basically turn it on and go, let's have some fun. So it's more like a jam session, a live jam session with people. Yeah, people having a good time. If they're up dancing, you go, right, quick, another banger, let's go, hit another banger. 2 or 3 bangers, they're worn out, they go sit down, have a drink, play a couple of calm ones, and away you go again. So,
well, that's been a very interesting discussion with the ins and outs of your gigs and the problems and the problem solving and the fun you have. But so
you forget about the bad ones or the things that go wrong. You just get on with it. But yeah, it does happen. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've had a great discussion today, and I think we might leave it there. It's been fun listening to all that and and the things that you've been getting up to and the problems you've had. So I, again, am going to love you and leave you for tonight, and I'll catch up with you next Saturday.
Look forward to it. Everybody keeps singing along.
Lots of love.
Okay, bye.
Now, don't forget to check out Trevor McCormack's YouTube for Trevor's latest music video, which is going off. So don't forget to have a listen. And you can also go to Trevor McCormack Music for any podcasts that you might have missed. So don't forget to follow and share.